Hi, my name is Dan Scoff, Chief Meteorologist of KNWA and Fox 24. Stay tuned for the program What's Up America. It's hosted by Rachel Odema, and it's coming up next. Don't miss it.
Hi, I'm Neely Jones from KNWA. Stay tuned for a fantastic show called What's Up America, hosted by Rachel Odema.
Hey, my name is Aaron Peters. I want you to stay tuned for this upcoming program called What's Up America, hosted by Rachel Odema. Stick around.
Hi, my name is Dan Scoff, Chief Meteorologist of KNWA and Fox 24. Stay tuned for the program What's Up America. It's hosted by Rachel Odema, and it's coming up next.
Hey, this is Matt Turner from KNWA. Stay tuned for a great program called What's Up America with Rachel Odema.
Hi, I'm Neely Jones from KNWA. Stay tuned for a fabulous program called What's Up America, anchored by Rachel Odema.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dan Scoff, Chief Meteorologist of KNWA and Fox 24. Stay tuned for the program What's Up America, hosted by Rachel Odema. Today, she learns all about KNWA and Fox 24 and what comes together to make a newscast.
Hi, I'm Rachel Odema with the program called What's Up America. Today I'll be visiting KNWA and interviewing a weatherman. And we're going to learn about different things in the weather department. And hi, what's your name?
My name is Dan Scoff. I'm the Chief Meteorologist of KNWA and Fox 24.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I was born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and that's where I grew up, and always wanted to study severe weather. Actually, when I was 8 years old, one day a tornado came within a quarter mile of our house when I was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and that whole scene of events with the skies turning as black as night and the clouds rolling in, and there was a tornado that ended up being a quarter mile away from our house, and it ended up striking my brother's friend's house. And when I stood there at the edge of that driveway and saw the damage, I knew, with my own eyes, I knew I wanted to study meteorology, and so I started reading books and watching the Weather Channel and doing all sorts of different weather activities, and lo and behold, here I am now at KNWA and Fox 24 in Northwest Arkansas, still loving what I do.
How do you know if it's gonna rain or snow?
That's a great question, and lately I've had to know everything from snow to rain to snow to wind to sunny, and that's pretty much been our weather over the past couple of weeks. A lot of times, what we do is we look at computer model forecast, and it's our job as the meteorologist to determine whether or not we have the chance of snow or the chance of rain. And so I use a little bit of intuition. I also use a little bit of experience, knowing how computer model forecasts tend to overestimate or underestimate systems, and not only that, but just how storms act around here. So it's a little bit of all three. I use intuition, experience, and knowledge of the area and the surrounding land, and also using computer model forecasts.
Is there any certain thing that you use to know if it's raining or snowing?
Yeah, of course we use radar. Radar is really important to able to tell us how strong how strong the thunderstorm is, how heavy the rain. We have technology where we can look at a thunderstorm and determine if it's severe, if it really truly has quarter-size hail with it, which is 1 inch in diameter or larger. If it has strong rotation, that could mean a tornado is forming. And then when it comes to snow, we look at the ground temperatures, notice they're below freezing, and over the weekend, we all know we had that foot of snow that came in over the area. And so that was pretty wild, and we were watching radar, and so we use radar a lot to determine whether we'll get rain or snow. We also use satellites. You can see a couple satellite images behind me. Satellites very important, knowing where weather patterns are, when they move in, and what they'll bring to the area.
How do you know like the colors? What do they mean and stuff?
Well, obviously that comes with studying and experiencing the weather. Over the years when you go to college and you study weather, you learn how to read those satellite maps and the radar maps and the water vapor and all that stuff. Just know this: if it's a darker color, it usually means worse weather. So that's a great way to think of it, such as the water vapor colors. When you're looking at the dark reds and the bright the bright greens and dark greens, the brighter the colors, the stronger the storm.
Have you ever gone out in a storm while working?
Matter of fact, I've storm chased quite a while. I've storm chased over 10 years, and I've seen 76 tornadoes in my lifetime, and never gets old. I absolutely love storm chasing. Now, obviously, we don't want, as storm chasers, tornadoes to touch down and destroy homes and hurt people and sometimes even causing fatalities. Obviously, we don't want that, but we want to study nature. We want to study severe weather out in the field where a tornado touches down, it doesn't hit anything. So yes, I have been in a number of storms. I've also been in Hurricane Katrina when that came ashore down in New Orleans, and that was unbelievable. The power of nature is just astounding, and especially that system. That system surprised me just how strong and how violent the weather can actually be.
When you have, like you said, how you have been in a tornado, do you feel any difference, or do you feel like you've been lifted off, or?
Well, I haven't been that close. I mean, I've never been inside a tornado with just me. Now, I have been inside a tornado in our vehicle one time. We were driving down the road, and all of a sudden, a big gust of wind came. We couldn't see anything, couldn't even see the windshield wipers on our car, just that far away. And ended up after this maybe 5-second no visibility time. Next thing we knew, we were in the other lane of the road. So we actually got pushed over into the other lane of the road from that tornado. There's also been another time back in 2003 when there was a storm that came very, very close to us, and we were only 1,400 feet away from a tornado, and it ended up shaking our car around quite a bit, and you could see dust swirling up one way in front of the car, also dust spinning the other way behind the car. So we knew that we were close or in a tornado, the outskirts of the tornado, and let me tell you, it can be pretty scary.
Have you ever been in like a very bad tornado, like you had to, like the car started flipping over, or your house came apart or something?
No, I probably wouldn't be here right now if that ever happened, if I was in a really, really strong tornado. That tornado that I did talk about that shook our car around, it ended up turning over 4 tractor trailers, 4 semis, 4 18-wheeler semis, flipped them over, tipped them over just a quarter mile away down the road, also destroyed a home. And then that tornado ended up growing to be a mile wide in diameter, that's a very large tornado. If you've ever driven on the road on the interstate and you're driving along for a mile, it's a long, long distance. So, no, I've never been inside that close, and I've never seen Dorothy or the Wicked Witch of the West, riding a broomstick. Obviously, I haven't seen that, but in the center of a tornado, some people have been in the center of the tornado, and they said it's almost like an eerie calm for a brief second. So I've never been in there, but I've seen actually some video inside the center of a tornado, and it doesn't look calm to me.
What school did you go to?
Oh. I attended the University of Oklahoma, and I got my Bachelor of Science in Meteorology, and so that's the school that I attended for meteorology. They have one of the better meteorology schools in the country, and they also have obviously the weather to study there. So it's a great place to study. I kind of consider it the severe weather mecca of the world. I mean, they get all sorts of different types of weather, from ice storms to snowstorms to even tropical storms. They had Tropical Storm Aaron come through there a couple years ago, and then also they obviously have the tornadoes.
Okay. When you said you went to Hurricane Katrina, were you actually in the hurricane?
Yeah, I was, as a matter of fact. We went down the day before it hit, and I was crossing Lake Pontchartrain at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and this was maybe 12 hours, a little bit over 12 hours before it hit. And that was quite a scene. Lake Pontchartrain, the water was almost up to the top of the bridge that crosses Lake Pontchartrain, which I don't know if you've ever taken that before. It's a long bridge. It seems like you're driving forever and ever over water, and so that was pretty scary. And then I ended up surviving Hurricane Katrina as we were just to the west of Slidell. Now, Slidell, I don't know if you remember this, but they had 35 feet of water come up as a storm surge that completely wiped out Slidell. Now, we were in Covington, which is just west of Slidell, a few miles, but it was a pretty scary scene.
Have you ever gone out of the country to see other bad weather?
That's a good question. The majority of the bad weather, believe it or not, tornado-wise, is in the United States. So the United States is the severe weather capital of the world. They get more tornadoes here in the United States in Tornado Alley than anywhere else in the entire world. Obviously, there are some bad storms that hit, Western Europe as they translate eastward across the Atlantic Ocean. There's some really bad storms, in Africa. You get these tropical waves that come in, and those tropical waves, they end up becoming hurricanes a lot of the times. And so I've never really seen those. I've been overseas. I've been to different areas. I've seen bad weather, but I've never specifically went out of the country to storm chase or severe weather. Argentina also has, and Venezuela has a pretty good severe weather season as far as intensity of severe weather. I know some people that have storm chased down there.
Have you ever realized, how do you know that there's a tornado coming?
Well, there's a number of signs to look for. The darkening clouds, rotation in the clouds. Also, when you look at radar, you're able to tell when storms are rotating just by looking at, the radar can tell which way the rain is moving within the storm, if it's moving towards the radar or away from the radar. So we look at that. We're able to tell if a storm is rotating. Also, storm spotters, extremely important. We have a very large network of storm spotters, and a lot of times they're my eyes and ears out in the field, and they let me know if a storm has a tornado or is about to produce a tornado.
In this picture back here, do you know where this was happening?
Yeah. Matter of fact, this was taken on May 22nd, 2008. It was one of the bigger tornado outbreaks of the 2008 season. And that right there is a very low-hanging wall cloud. It was shot by one of our storm spotters, Bart Comstock. And here you can see a funnel that's beginning to touch down. See that little finger coming down? That was a very, very strong storm system that produced a number of tornadoes, and this is what they call a high risk of severe weather. Now, out of all the severe weather setups in the entire year, about 2 or 3 of them, if that, become a high risk, meaning it's the absolute highest risk that you can have for severe weather potential. And you can see that obviously that high risk panned out because there's a lot of bad storms there. But yeah, this was shot in northwest Kansas on May 22nd, 2008.
Have you do you know how many states you've been to for storms?
A lot, actually. I mean, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Nebraska, South Dakota, Wyoming, Colorado, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee. How many do we have so far? 12. Iowa, Missouri. Yeah, so about 14 states. I'm all over the country. And then been out in California, but haven't gone there to storm chase, but have actually seen tornadoes in California and seen a tornado over Utah. So probably almost 24 states across the U.S.
Are you wanting to go anywhere in particular for any storms?
Around here, as you look on our Skycam shot here, the terrain isn't very favorable for severe weather here. I mean, you can't just be parked and watch it come from miles away. So really the majority of severe weather chasing, which is really beneficial where you can see the tornadoes coming for a while, you can look at storms, that's in like Texas, the Texas Panhandle, Kansas, and western Oklahoma are probably the best storm chasing terrains in the country, and so that's one of the best places to be.
Is there any places like California that you have seen like a hurricane, or do you have any signs of a hurricane or anything?
Believe it or not, California has never officially been hit by a hurricane. There's been a storm that was just about as strong as a hurricane, but they didn't classify it. It was back in the early 1900s. I can't remember the exact date, but there was a storm that was really strong. But really, honestly, California doesn't really get hit by many hurricanes. It's more of the southeast U.S. and the East Coast. A lot of the times the storms will move away from California at the last minute.
Do you know any signs of a hurricane that's coming?
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the signs is seeing all the traffic coming out of the city. When we were driving down to New Orleans on I-55, it was amazing. As we were driving southward, everybody was driving northbound. I mean, we were the only ones, except for a handful of cars, actually driving into the city. It was a mass evacuation. So that's one of the signs. It happens in Houston, happened, for Hurricane Rita. That's definitely one of the signs for severe weather and for a hurricane approaching. Also, you could see a wall of high clouds that are coming in, and that's the very leading edge of the storm. And that was a very eerie sight, actually seeing that in the sky. One of the best ways, Rachel, to know that a hurricane is coming is obviously the hurricane hunters. Hurricane hunters are aircraft that fly into the hurricane. They get all the latest information, its track, its speed, how strong it is, and then we use that combined with satellite images to know just how strong that hurricane is, and then we're able to look at the computer model forecast, which tried to determine the track of the hurricane and where it will hit and where it will make landfall. But a lot of times that isn't correct, so obviously there's a margin of error with the track of hurricanes, but that's one of the ways that we know that hurricanes are coming. And then visual signs are those high clouds coming in, skies darkening, winds starting to pick up, all that stuff. Also really rough surf is another way to know that a hurricane is coming.
Is there Any other her storms that you've been to?
Well, I know you've been through the ice storm, but let me ask you this. What did you think of that ice storm last year?
It was scary.
It was scary, wasn't it? I mean, the ice was coming down and sticking to the trees. Did you lose power at your place?
Yep.
Yeah, I think majority of the people in Northwest Arkansas, about 95% of the people lost power. And so that was a very, very strong storm. And you know, being in storms and experiencing storms, they can be really scary at times. So ice storms, snowstorms, windstorms. You know, we had a windstorm back in 2007 that knocked the power out in a good portion of the country. Wind gusts exceeded 50 miles an hour. You remember Ike? When Ike came through, it was an early Sunday morning, September 13th. Boy, those winds started picking up when Ike came in, and so that was a wild thing. Northwest Arkansas having a near tropical storm come through the area. So,
Has there been any scary what's the scariest storm you ever been in?
well, that one tornado that I told you about, my wife and I were actually storm chasing that day, and literally that storm almost picked up our car. At least it felt like it. Another thing was a Katrina. I mean, just being close to shore, watching this Category 5 at the time hurricane coming our way with 155 mile an hour sustained winds. That was pretty scary, seeing that. 160, I think at one point when it was out in land, 175 mile an hour sustained winds. I mean, that's like an EF3, EF4 tornado coming at you with constant winds. So we didn't know what that was going to be like experiencing. So that was pretty scary too.
What were you feeling when this was happening?
My heartbeat was going, I could feel my heart beating out of my chest. A little bit of nervousness, didn't know if our equipment would make it, didn't know if my car would make it, and I told you we were just west of Slidell. We actually had orders from our news team to go east into Slidell, and I made the call and said, I don't really want to do that, because if this storm is as strong as I'm thinking, with the storm surge well over 30 feet, Slidell will be underwater, and I didn't want to be a part of that. So a lot of nervousness, a lot of anxious, being very anxious that the storm was coming in, and then obviously, just anticipation. Those are kind of the emotions that I have.
Did you scream or anything like that?
I didn't scream, although with the tornado that we almost got hit by, we really did think it was getting close to the end. And so my wife and I kind of said, if we die, we know where we're going. So, but we had a couple people that were with us in the back that didn't know where they were going, and didn't have their heart set right with God. And so it was kind of like they were freaking out behind us. They were screaming like little school children in the back seat. But my wife and I, we were actually pretty calm, and we really thought that might be the end of it. We didn't know where the tornado was. We could have easily been hit by it if we continued going.
Would you like to show us your screens and stuff back here?
Sure, yeah. I'll show you right here. We're using this is, again, that storm chase that was happening in Northwest Arkansas. We also use what's called the WeatherBug Network. And what the WeatherBug Network is current temperatures, current wind speed, current wind gusts, all that stuff that you can measure up to the second information, such as this. You can see the rainfall. We can also look at cameras as well. If we load this, you'll see this. You'll see a nice live image there. There's a nice live image of cameras. So we have all sorts of different cameras across the area, Northwest Arkansas, even the River Valley. Here's Panama Elementary School. You can see someone running there. That is live video. So it was a beautiful day today on this Friday, March 26th. Here we have another computer screen. This is kind of like our internet computer. We're able to look at satellites. Remember, you were asking me, how do we know if it's going to rain or snow or not? This is the stuff that we use. These are called computer model forecasts. And the computer model forecasts let us know what's coming in this way. And so we kind of look, and And here's this weekend storm coming in, and so you can see all that green over us. That's rain. We know because it's above freezing, so there's no chance of snow with this, but definitely chance of rain. Then we have another computer over here, another internet computer. So we use all these monitors. You know, here's a radar on our monitor. This is called Mega Doppler, and that's a radar where we're able to tell how big the hail size is, how strong the rotation is, down to the city block. We will be able to tell if a tornado will hit your area down to the city block. So some pretty tremendous technology here at KNWA and Fox 24, Northwest Arkansas in the River Valley.
Is there anything else you would like to say?
I'd just like to say thanks to the Cat and What's Up America, and thank you, Rachel, for interviewing me. It was a great time. We'll give you a tour here, and we'll show you, what it's like in a working environment and the studio. We're right here on the square in downtown Fayetteville. We have another business office and a bureau that's in Pinnacle Hills area, so we cover Benton County as well. But thanks for the opportunity, and hopefully you don't have to be in a tornado or any storms. And if you are, then I'll be interviewing you and see what it was like.
I have one more question.
Yes.
How did a weatherman change your life in the believing of God?
Well, that's a good question. I would say that becoming a weatherman hasn't changed my belief in God. It actually strengthened it. I've always been a believer all my life, but one thing I've learned being a weatherman is that God has a sense of humor. He definitely has a sense of humor. You think you know what's going on, you think you know what's going to happen. Oh, he'll humble you pretty quick. And that can obviously happen. But, it's amazing to see, God's hands at work and how he's able to create weather phenomenon, and he knows every single lightning bolt and tells it where it should go. And I just think that's astounding. And his power and his majesty are rather mighty. And I like to profess that faith, not by preaching, getting up and doing a 3-minute sermon on the air while I'm telling the weather, but I definitely like to, proclaim my faith and let everyone know that, yes, I do have a strong faith in the Lord. And I think it's very important because, I definitely have my heart set right with God, and I think others should as well, and that's why I kind of tell people about it. It was a beautiful Monday, and we have a special guest in the Power Doppler Forecast Center. This is Rachel Odema, not only a member and attendee of our church, First Baptist Church of Fayetteville, but also has a show on the Cat called What's Up America. So what's up with you, Rachel? How are you doing today?
Great.
Isn't it wonderful? The weather outside just so nice and sunny. Now, the reason you're here, because you're learning all about how weather works and how the job of a meteorologist goes along each day. What did you think of as far as seeing the Weather Center and seeing the newscast live in person?
It was amazing to me. I learned a lot of things doing this.
And so it's really cool. And I know you have this show that airs on the Cat, and right now you're recording along with your dad the newscast and trying to, show that. What is that show all about? What's Up America?
It's about me. I go around and talk to people with unique talents and unique jobs, and I ask them questions and learn about their jobs.
Great. Okay, well, Rachel, we'll look forward to that when that airs on TV. I know your dad's going to do the editing, and so thank you for joining us on this beautiful day, and you can shoot me doing the weather over here.
All right.
So let's talk about what's going on. First of all, a beautiful spring-like day. Now, over the weekend, we had some pretty strong storms that rolled into the area. Hot Springs Village in central Arkansas had everything: rain, hail, and a rainbow. Thank you, Jake, for the music. Yeah, beautiful scene. I even saw a rainbow coming back from Branson on Saturday near Alpena. And as we take a look at this next picture, but it still is springtime. Jay Womack, West Fork River, and here's a nice fish that they caught. Here's the spring catch of the day, a smallmouth bass. They are biting out there, so thank you so much for sending in those pictures to my media on nwahomepage.com. Let's go to our pollen graphic, and we'll show you what the pollen count is on this Monday, March 29th. We're approaching the April season, and really the pollen hasn't been too bad. Mold spores in the higher end of the low category. Grass pollen is absent. Tree pollen in the moderate category. Just a half sneeze, Jake. Yeah, only at 80 with, or 60, should I say, with that pollen, tree pollen, cedar pollen, the highest predominant tree pollen of concern. Temperature-wise, nothing to be concerned with. 63 degrees. It's beautiful. Dew points are at 33 right now, so extremely dry. Winds are calm. Now, the difference between today and tomorrow will be warmer temperatures, and also the winds will be kicking up a lot more. The winds were light today. That does not last into tomorrow, and throughout the rest of the week, our winds will be cranking up out of the south pretty strong. Temperatures elsewhere, 64 in Rogers and Bentonville, 64 in Siloam Springs, 70 degrees off to the west, so you guessed it, 70s move our way tomorrow. In fact, we'll be in the middle to upper 70s in the River Valley tomorrow afternoon. Now, the moisture is low at the moment, but once this high-pressure system moves off to the east, see how strong these winds are, 23-mile-an-hour sustained winds out of the south. Those winds will be cranking up throughout the week, and our next big weather system is moving on to the west coast by Wednesday afternoon into the evening. You can see that we are completely clear and quiet, but you'll see a huge dip in the jet stream beginning to take place off to the west. So we are under high pressure, a large ridge of high pressure. Here comes this next weather system. Look at the big dip in the jet stream taking place Wednesday night. So by the time this system moves into our area on Friday evening, we could see some strong storms into the area, especially with that return moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. Regional satellite radar, totally sunny, and the only thing to be concerned with is warmer and breezy conditions. Now, the breezy conditions will crank up the fire danger a little bit in eastern Oklahoma and the River Valley as it continually gets stronger and stronger throughout the week. Very breezy on Wednesday evening, but a cold front does not move in.
Are you ready to give us a tour?
I can. It's a little busy around. All right, it's a new day at KNWA, and let me give you a tour of the place. First of all, we'll start off with our newsroom, and this is if you pan over to the right here, you'll see Dave Johnston, a regular at the Cat, right there. He's actually editing video and getting ready for the 6 o'clock newscast. There's people always working on a newscast here. We have 4 newscasts to produce during the evenings and 1 newscast in the morning. That goes from 5:30 to 7 o'clock in the morning. There's also evening newscasts at 5, 6, and 10 on KNWA, and an hour-long show on Fox. Now you'll see a gentleman over there with a phone to his ear. That is our assignments editor, also assistant news director. His name is Ernie Paulson. And Ernie Paulson right now is gathering all the news stories of the day, finding out what's most important, telling our reporters to go ahead and schedule their interview with their photographer. And so that's exactly what they're doing. So he's on the phone. He's busy typing up right here. If you'll come back over this way, Joseph, we'll show you several other things. JR, one of our reporters, is over here working. And also Brad Reed, our Fox anchor. There's Fox right there. Brad Reed with Fox 24 News Edge. This is for the, 9 o'clock. So this is Cat TV, What's Up America, and we're just doing a segment here on everybody that's working in the newscast. So he is editing his stories, different things like that. Over here, JR is actually doing a story right now, and he's got midterm Monday, with the big election that's coming up. So you can see that it's real busy in here, isn't it?
Yep. It's very busy. So how does it add all up to make one newscast?
There's a lot of work that goes into a half hour of television. Here's the way it works. You have what's called a rundown. Now, a rundown, if you notice, every single news element not only has a story slug, but also has a format, what type of graphic it needs to be, if it's a live shot, if it's voiceover, if it's sound on tape, stinger, intro, all of that information is on there under format. You also have the talent that's supposed to do it, whether it would be Matt, our co-anchor, or Neely, or myself. Sports is not included in the 5 o'clock newscast, but they do have a very big presence in the 6 and 10 o'clock newscast. Also the camera shots. These are important for the floor directors as well as the the production assistants and the camera operators that set up the camera news shots. You saw how the cameras were moving around all over the place and people were talking. So what happens is the producer, which is Lisa B and many other producers that are over here in the corner. Right now it's a little bit empty, but the producer, what they do is they stack this show. So these are elements in the newscast, and then what happens is people go out, they shoot video, they edit the video, and I'll show you where they edit the video, and then it all comes together in the newscast for, you know, one block. This is called a block. From the start of the newscast to the commercial break is called a block, and then there's sometimes 4, 5, 6 blocks in a newscast, and all of this stuff is edited and timed out to the second exactly how long the newscast is. So that's how it works. It's all from a rundown. You have the producers that are over here. The producers are the ones that, you know, figure out the timing and the flow of the newscast. There's Ernie, our assistant news director and assignments editor. One of our photographers over here, Dustin Rogers, in fact, our chief photographer. And he's busy locating probably a story that he needs to shoot and also booking his Walt Disney World vacation. So he's doing that. He's working hard. Here's Hayden, our prompter operator, and during the newscast, he scrolls through the teleprompter so the newscast, so the news anchors know what to read. Now, weather does not use a teleprompter. It's all off the top of the head for 3.5 minutes, 3 minutes. You're talking about the weather, no teleprompter. But news anchors, they ad-lib a lot of times too. Ad-lib means they make up words, they make up sentences, they make up phrases in between the newscast. But a lot of times they use the teleprompter to tell them what stories to use. Over here, you have our control room. And our control room is pretty much the hub of where the newscast takes place. You have our producer, Jay, our audio guy, Jake, our director, Andrew, and our graphics girl on her phone, Darcy. So anyways, you got Darcy Jackson, who does our graphics, and this is our 5 o'clock newscast. This is called the control room, and you're going to see when this starts up, the producer is the one that times the show. The director punches up the different camera shots. Our graphics girl, Darcy, she's the one that sets up the different mug shots, the different full screen video. He sets up audio, all sorts of stuff. You're on Cat TV.
No, they're fine. Benton County officials still searching for Corey Wolf, who's now believed to be armed and dangerous. Authorities say he was last spotted Thursday near a home in Key Ridge and may have stolen a rifle from a home in Beacon. Now, if you see Wolf, call 911 immediately.
And two Benton County men accused of killing a mom and grandmother appeared in court today for arraignment on murder charges. Nicholas Johansson, the son and grandson of Christina and Louise Bishop, did not enter a plea this morning. His arraignment has been rescheduled for next month. However, Michael Winters did enter a plea of not killing.
Weather, Matt, you know what? It continues more than one day. In fact, we have warm weather continuing tomorrow. 1 minute. Upper 70s on Wednesday, Thursday. 4 overtakes. Now, it will come at a price. Windy weather will return. So, unlike today, where the feel that. Rachel, now we're in what's called an edit bay, and this is where video is edited, and it's all done digitally. It used to be done, you know, with putting in a tape and then editing that tape and then dubbing it off to another tape. But now it's all digital, so everything that you see in a newscast is all edited video, unless it's weather video. Then, you know, what we'll do is we'll gather that from the news feeds. But the way it works is you have 2 monitors, and one monitor is showing, you know, what the video is going to be cut from, and then the next screen on the right-hand side that's dark, that shows you the output, or essentially what the video will end up being. Everything that you see in our newscast is done by these edit bays, and it's called Avid, and we have several of these around the station where multiple people work and edit video, including sports. So that's how video is edited. Do you have any questions about this?
Not right now.
And then, of course, we have our sports department. And this is the Razorback Nation sports set. And right here you have Pat Doney working in the background, and he's working on video and editing different portions of the newscast. And so, you know, they have the Diamond Hogs that won a huge series over the weekend. They're going to be talking about that in their Razorback Nation. They have another one of those Avid editing machines. And then over to your left here, over to Joseph's left, you'll see the Razorback Nation set, and this is where they do sports. And what do you think? You think it looks a lot smaller in person than it does on TV?
Very.
Isn't that amazing how the TV works sometimes? But obviously it's not lit, and you know, we don't have all the lights on. But if you just hold this just for a second, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the lights, and you'll get to see real quickly. Turn on here together with just a few flips of the switch. So that's just some of these lights here with the Razorback Nation.
That is very cool.
Yeah. And then the Razorback Nation, they also use a teleprompter. Obviously, they read off a teleprompter, but sports as well as weather, do a lot of ad-libbing. So that's how the sports department works. And then over here in this edit bay, you have Mr. Aaron Peters. Aaron Peters is editing video, typing without even looking. That's talent right there. He doesn't have to worry about spelling. That's what spell check is for. So Aaron Peters editing video here and getting ready for the 6 o'clock newscast and using the edit bay. So constant work in progress is a newscast. It's a lot of work that goes into a half hour of television, as you know and as your dad knows.
Hi, I'm here with Matt and Neely, and I'm gonna ask him a few questions. How do you feel when you get off when you're on the air?
I think Matt would agree. It's if you get this little thing in your belly where you're really excited. It's a fun job to do, but you're very focused.
Yeah. At first, you know, when you first start, like anything, you get a little bit nervous, and then you become more comfortable, so you kind of get used to it. And just like any job out there, I don't care if you're working for the fire department or if you're a news anchor or you're a football coach, it kind of becomes a job after a while. And so we kind of get used to doing it, but we still have a lot of fun.
Do you practice any?
Yeah, we do. I mean, you practice at your desk. You'll hear us reading out loud a lot because we go through and kind of, I don't want to say rewrite, but kind of spice things so that they sound more like us. And you'll hear, when you walk by, it's kind of funny because you'll hear us both reading out loud to practice what we're going to say.
Yeah. Some of the big places too, like New York, the news anchors will actually just walk into the building and read the whole show without even looking at it, which I think is crazy. I have to at least look at the script ahead of time and kind of practice and know what I'm going to say. So, but a lot of times we do, like Dan has talked about, we do ad lib and just kind of chit chat, and it's not planned, so you can't practice for that.
Is there any things that you would wanted to like any big news that you wanted to announce?
I think we both like breaking news. I'd say we like that a lot. And we both like when we get to interview different people, especially celebrities when they're in town, because it's fun for us and the viewers at home to talk to them. And then we both like to do stories about nonprofits and diseases and to try to help draw attention to issues that affect a lot of families here.
Yeah. The best thing is when you know you're talking on TV and people are at home and they really care about what you're saying. You know, it's not just boring. So that's the most fun. Anything interesting we like to talk about.
Have you ever done anything embarrassing?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It just happens. It's part of it.
It's live, see. So you get to record it with your dad, and then he gets to go edit. And we do it all live. And so whatever happens, happens. So, yeah, sometimes you mess up, and, you know, you just have to keep going.
Have you ever done any news outside here, like outside the building?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, both of us have. You mean for KNWA or for a different station?
KNWA.
Yeah, we both like to do, a lot of anchors just like to be on the desk, but Matt and I both, we like to be in the community and do stories and stay in touch with what's going on.
Any questions?
How do you like it?
It's fun. I like being on TV.
You're good at it, too. You're doing a great, how old are you?
11.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Better watch out.
Yeah, she's going to have your job.
I know.
All right.
All right, thank you.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice
and
to
your
meet you
dad.
too. Well, thank you for coming on my show, What's Up America.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate it a lot.
Called What's Up in America, anchored by Rachel Odema. Do we approve? I'm going to trade your spots.
On a program called What's Up America. Today I am visiting KNWA in the weather area. Hi, I'm Rachel Odema with the program called What's Up America. Today I'm going to be interviewing a weatherman from KNWA from this area, and we will.
Hi, my name is Neely Jones. Stay tuned for a fabulous program called What's Up in America, anchored by Rachel Odema. Is that okay? Hi, I'm Neely Jones from KNWA. Stay tuned for a fabulous program called What's Up America, anchored by Rachel Odema. Do we approve? Okay. I'm going to trade your spots.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Hey, this is Matt Turner from KNWA. Stay tuned for a great program called What's Up America with Rachel Odema.
2, 1. Hi, I'm Neely Jones from KNWA. Stay tuned for a fantastic show called What's Up America, hosted by Rachel Odema.
That's good. Very good.
You're so comfortable.
You ready? All right, and 3, 2, 1.
Learn how he gets, how he knows things.
We'll go over here. Okay. Saturday, some early showers, and then Easter Sunday, system's out in here, so it's nice. Easter Sunday.
You were Mr. Popular, aren't you?
Oh, this is
Yeah.
nice, huh?
You get to get back, relax.
Yeah,
Well, you said last week you might be able to do that. Has it been more relaxing?
Yeah, more relaxing. Made the forecast real quick today, and had some guests, in the studio, so I got to spend some time with them. So it's fun.
I'm going to brag you here, because I know you brag all the time. But I always ask you, when can I play golf? You always tell me what times, based on the weather, and I put it on Thursday. Dead on. We were able to play earlier in the morning. Oh, very nice. Husband loves it.
All right.
Thank you, Dan. Hey, security very, very high today following 2 bombings at Subway in Moscow. We're going to have those details for you after the break.
And later, could a cookie be just as crippling as cocaine? If you're a food addict, it could be. Find out what new research is saying about the addiction to food we consume.
Good deal.
I
mics, so they would pick up, so they both would pick up. So this one was for the newscast, so they needed to hear you, and then that one was for the cat. So you want me to take you around the place? You want to do that? Go off the tripod, or do you want to record more of the newscast?
Riding in, lost control and flipped 8 times while the driver of the other car never stopped. Caitlin was in a coma for about 5 weeks and her best friend was killed in the accident. Tonight, Caitlin is giving a special lecture to other University of Arkansas students about drinking and driving.
Postal Service made a cutback in deliveries. The agency is seeking approval to deliver mail 5 days instead of 6 days a week. And Greg has details. I couldn't hear Jay.
Will you ask him what we're doing with the top story?
I'm so glad you said that.
To the end of the A block.
Well, no, he did. He just said move it.
He just said move it. He didn't tell us where to move it.
I heard move it to the end of the
He just first said move
All I heard was
story,
move it.
and then he said move it at the end of the A block.
So
But he
is it
hasn't come
still
back
in
and
the
said
A?
anything.
Hey guys, are y'all?
Chuck, will you ask him if we have our top story still?
Pardon me?
Will you ask Jay if we? Okay. Okay. You got it.
Bro, I'm so glad you could hear him because I couldn't. Seriously, if you had said it's the murder trial,
Do, do, do,
I
do, do,
don't think you could tell it.
do.
The girl who eventually committed suicide. District Attorney says 15-year-old Phoebe Prince of South Hadley suffered months of unrelenting harassment, both in person and online. She killed herself January 14th. 2 of the teens have also been charged with statutory rape in this case. The prosecutor says some school officials knew about the bullying, but will not be facing criminal charges.
Well, it's hard to believe, but there are only 51 days left until primary elections. That leaves very little time to campaign, and for Republicans, separating themselves from the pack is key. As for how the candidates are doing, let's bring in KWA's political reporter, J.R. Davis. J.R.?
Well, Matt, Democrats Blake Lincoln and Bill Halter have had a pretty heated race so far in the U.S. Senate. One paints themselves as one tough woman fighting for Arkansans, while the other echoes the familiar cry of change and new leadership. Bottom line, it's easy for 2 of the candidates to create their own personal campaign persona. But try doing that with 8. That's the problem Republicans are having in both the race for the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate. So they're finding ways to separate themselves from the pack, whether it's a TV ad or just speaking out against the newest issue. However, it's more difficult for GOP candidates in the Senate race because one candidate has a much bigger platform and audience than the others. I'm talking about Congressman John Bozeman, who weighed in on the health care bill, Representative Mark Stupak's decision to back it, and if it was legal to do so on Fox News earlier today. Listen to this.